Welcome to day 27 of our HTML and CSS in Action series. Today, we'll build a parallax scrolling effect that gives your web page real depth and motion. Using only HTML and CSS, we'll layer mountains, trees, and a glowing sunset, each moving at a different speed as you scroll. It's a simple yet powerful way to make your designs look cinematic and dynamic. Let's get started. In this first section, we're creating the sky layer, which sets the calm tone for our parallax effect. Inside, we have a content div with a heading called Golden Horizon and a short description. This layer stays fixed as we scroll, giving that peaceful, steady background before the scene begins to move. Next, we have our mountain section titled Whispering Peaks. Here, the mountains layer gives our design a sense of depth as it moves gently while scrolling. The fade overlay at the bottom helps blend the scene smoothly into the next layer. Now, this section is called Forest Edge. It represents the layer of trees that's closest to the viewer, so it moves more noticeably when scrolling, creating that realistic 3D parallax depth. The soft overlay at the bottom adds a smooth transition to the next scene, keeping the movement natural and immersive. Our final section is Twilight Glow. This is where the day fades and the sun slowly sets behind the mountains, bringing everything together in a cinematic way. It's the perfect ending for our parallax scene. Calm, realistic, and beautifully layered. We'll start with a universal reset using the star selector. Setting margin and padding to 0 removes default spacing, and box sizing, border box, ensures our layout stays consistent when adding borders or padding. For the body and HTML, we're setting the height to 100%, so our parallax fills the full screen. We also hide any horizontal scrolling and use the Poppins font for a clean, modern look. This is the main style for each section in our parallax layout. We're setting the position to relative so we can easily place overlays or other elements on top later. The height is set to 100 VH, which means each section will always fill the entire screen height, perfect for full-page visuals. Next, we use background size, cover, and background position, center, to make sure our images scale nicely and stay centered no matter the screen size. The property background attachment, fixed, is the key to our parallax effect. It makes each background stay in place while the content above it scrolls, giving that smooth depth illusion. Finally, we're using Flexbox to center our text both vertically and horizontally. In this part of our CSS, we're assigning background images to each section of our parallax scene. The sky image acts as the farthest background. It's bright, wide, and gives that open-air feeling. Next, the mountains layer creates depth and forms the base of our landscape. Then we have the trees image, which sits closer to the viewer and moves more noticeably during scrolling, adding that realistic 3D sense of distance. Finally, the sunset background ties the entire scene together, blending warm light into the mountains and trees for that glowing, cinematic atmosphere. Now we're styling the content area, the box that holds our text within each parallax section. We're using a semi-transparent black background to make the text stand out clearly against the images while still letting a bit of the scene show through. The padding adds space inside the box for breathing room, and the border radius softens the edges for a smooth, modern look. Finally, the box shadow adds subtle depth, making the text feel like it's floating gently above the background, clean and cinematic. Here we're styling the heading and paragraph inside each section. The H1 uses a large font size and a soft cream color to stand out beautifully against the darker backgrounds. We also add a subtle text shadow to give it more depth and visibility. For the paragraph, we're keeping it slightly smaller, limiting the width for better readability, and using a gentle light gray tone that complements the overall theme. This fade overlay creates a soft gradient at the bottom of every section, fading from dark to transparent. It helps blend one background smoothly into the next, giving the entire parallax a polished, natural transition as you scroll. And that wraps up day 27 of our HTML and CSS in Action series. Today you learned how to create a beautiful parallax scrolling effect using only HTML and CSS. No JavaScript needed. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to like, save, and follow for more creative web design projects. See you tomorrow for another